West was being treated for sleep deprivation when his doctor reportedly called 911 saying he was psychotic.
I see good things about Hitler also. Every human being has something of value that they brought to the table, especially Hitler.
That's f***ing I know I'm not supposed to say that, Biden.
Kanye West is upping his anti-Semitic tirade.
Hard to imagine what Kanye West can do to top all of this.
I used to spend hours and hours as the cleanup crew.
Well, that's why you got divorced.
Harley Pasternak followed me to the hotel. Corey is a plant.
All of his shenanigans is going to be far more damaging to the kids one day than my tape will ever be.
It seems to me that occasionally your mouth gets you into trouble on the...
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
What is going on with Kanye West?
There's so much. I don't even know where we're going to start.
Let's get into it. Welcome back to Let's Get Into It podcast. Today we are joined by the only Kanye West expert that I know, named Green Girl, and she runs the Kanye Post Instagram page. Welcome, Green Girl, to the channel.
Thank you for having me. I love your wet tea.
Oh, you do love it.
Look at the wet tank, everyone.
Very Bianca Sensori.
Are you Bianca or are you Ye?
Honestly, I don't think I want to be either at this moment because I don't know if they're doing well, but that's why we have you here today to give us like the inside scoop on what is going on with Kanye West.
There's so much. I don't even know where we're going to start.
Let's start off with like, who are you? Okay, so like Green Girl, you're here. How did you get into Kanye?
So 2 years ago, it was during his divorce when he was posting and deleting. I was sick and I was laying in bed and all of us were trying to figure out like, what is he talking about? We were trying to screenshot his post. So I just started an archive because he would delete them within 30 seconds. So it was kind of like a Pokemon, like gotta catch them all. So I was screenshotting them. And then the account blew up in like a week. It had 10K, and then it grew really, really fast because he went on the posting spree for about a year. And then once the Adidas scandal started, then it really blew up. And now this recent posting, the Vultures era, now I'm kind of stuck following Ye.
Yeah. So when you say like
I'm a professional stalker.
With these, like when you're sitting and you're like collecting these screenshots initially with these people, like who are these people? Like the Kanye West fans, the Green people?
Well,
like,
no, when Ye was using his social media account, he was like, it was when he was mad at Ski. So he was posting all these funny memes about Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian. So I thought it was all manufactured drama for the Kardashian Hulu show. But now that I'm 2 years into the future, I'm realizing, they were very much real thoughts that he was having during that divorce. And now that I look back on it, I'm like, it really wasn't as funny as I thought. Like he actually was going through it.
So as far as your coverage, I mean, it sounds like obviously it's like an archive kind of page, but like, what is the tone? Like, am I talking to like the biggest Kanye stan right now? Or are we just really following like the unraveling of this man?
It's not as, I'm definitely not a stan. And a lot of the people that follow are always like, you're not a big enough fan. Like they're just, some of them, So I would say it's always been an archive. It started as an archive, but then the deeper I got into it, the more intrigued and invested I became. And like I said, now I feel kind of like married to this.
Yeah. And I do want to reiterate that like when I'm talking about you as like a fan, you're definitely way more than a fan because you've actually built connections with people who are part of his team, who are close to him. I think we're going to kind of uncover more of that as we get into this episode. But like, can you just kind of like give our viewers like an idea of like, so you've talked to people in his team, communicated with.
I started the page and it was just like a comedy page at first, and then it was kind of like fighting for the truth because he was always against the mainstream media. So I liked that angle of it. And now, as time went on, I started a podcast that I would just do kind of infrequently, and I would interview all of the people on his team. So I started building connections that way. But then recently, I got really connected with the team. And I'll be sharing that story soon, but I'm pretty close now with his entire camp. Yeah. So I will be able to give you a little bit of more inside scoop today.
She absolutely will. And I have to say, you have to keep your eyes out for what she's going to tell because she told me, but we've got journalistic integrity.
Yeah, off the record.
So there's some really juicy things coming out, but we've got a lot to unpack here. And I want to talk a little bit about the Kardashians before we really get into Kanye himself, because I feel like Kanye, he was always like a musician to me until like I saw him with the Kardashians. And then I started seeing this more like, I want to say personal side, but like at least who he is as a person, because he is platformed by like reality show people. So now we're seeing a little bit more of like his reality instead of just him through his music. In his relationship with Kim, do you think like it was genuine?
I definitely think it was. I think he considered her a great muse as well. I think he got so many great albums done during that era, which was pretty long. And I think he really is hurt by the divorce. And I think we're seeing that now.
Yeah, like in some of his behavior, it's like post-divorce, like getting over Kim.
It's like we're witnessing like the grieving process. Each like different era when he comes back to social media, we're witnessing this different side. Like at first he was like trying to attack Pete Davidson. Then it was him like trying to like can't like get out of all of his contracts. I don't think that had as much to do with her though. And now he has a new wife and I think they're very happy. I don't know if he's completely over it. I think he might be. He might be over it.
Maybe.
But he does seem a little bit angry. Like if you've seen the recent podcast clips, he's seeming angry.
I do care.
You don't care about me. You don't care about my people. It's very one-sided.
No, it's not.
It's very
not.
white-sided.
Oh, come
it's
on,
very
Ye.
one-sided.
Don't-
It's very like,
It's
yeah.
not-
I ain't finished. I ain't finished my sentence.
Nothing
I didn't
you're-
finish
nothing
my
you're saying
brilliant
has
idea.
anything to do
Hey,
with
boy,
regret.
Hey, boy.
Don't call
hey,
me boy.
Don't finish. I told you. That is fucking. Hey, here, come get me. That's fucking. I know I'm not supposed to say that, Biden, but that's fucking. Interview adjourned. Love you.
He definitely seems angry. And I do think he cared for Kim and he was really invested. I mean, I don't even necessarily understand how it fell apart. Like, do we know? Like, it wasn't like a cheating, like a one-time big thing that ended it, right?
I used to spend hours and hours and hours of my days as the cleanup crew.
Well, that's why you got divorced, because you can't do that to yourself
I just
anymore.
don't have that energy.
I think at the end they just kind of like grew apart.
Yeah.
And he kind of made her what she was. I just think they had two different things going on.
Interesting. Because I feel like you're saying like, oh, he made her into what she is. But I feel like also Kanye.
I think I'll definitely say that Kim helped Ye provide a lot of structure and infrastructure to all of his wild ideas.
I mean, they both were actually like a great pair for each other. So it's kind of sad that they
definitely helped elevate each other in different ways, for sure.
And, you know, I feel like the Kardashian mastermind is like Kris Jenner. And I just like, do you like, just like, obviously you wouldn't know, but like, how do you even think Kris Jenner is even like understanding everything going on here with Kanye?
Well, everyone's always saying if Kris Jenner can't save Ye, then nobody can.
Yeah.
But someone on the Yeezy Camp team did tell me recently that anytime the Kardashians would show up with Ye, when they would get out of a car, Kris Jenner always had to. The girls would wait, and Kris Jenner would have to walk in front. So they would like walk in a triangle formation, just to kind of show like she's the mob boss.
Really?
And it was just like triangle, and they would walk. So like Kris Jenner like really is Chris Jong-un, as Ye would say.
Is. Do you think Kanye, like, I mean, he probably, like, do you think he still communicates with, like, these people and with this family? Like, do you think Kris Jenner's still in his life?
We haven't seen them communicate often. I know that the kids still see him with the nanny, and they'll, like, go visit him at whatever hotel he's staying at the moment, or sometimes he has an apartment. I don't know if he's even staying at the apartment anymore. He's been staying at the Chateau Marmont. That's where the recent alleged punch happened.
No, we talked about that on the main channel.
He is a suspect in a battery report after a man allegedly grabs his wife. Kanye and his wife, Bianca were at the Chateau Marmont in Los Angeles when a man allegedly pushed Kanye's wife. He put his hands under her dress, directly on her body. He grabbed her waist, he spun her around, and then he blew her kisses. Kanye allegedly punched this man after he assaulted Sensory and then fled the scene.
And I know those guys. I used to party with those guys.
Have you talked to him since the assault?
The guys?
Yeah, or like the one twin?
No, I was never hot enough for those twins. But I thought it was funny that it was like a Mary-Kate and Ashley twin situation where like they're like, he punched the wrong twin.
Yeah.
According to a new report as of yesterday, they're saying that they didn't get the punch on camera and the twin is denying that he grabbed Bianca, but Ye just went on a podcast and said Bianca's the one that told him they did that, and he was just going off of what she said. So he didn't see it himself. And I guess they're not going to file. It looks like they're not going to do anything. Like they're not suing. So I think you thought he was in legal trouble. I don't think he is.
Well, good for him, I guess. And honestly, we'll talk
He's
about
in
Bianca.
other legal trouble,
Yeah.
but not with the twin. I don't think the twins, they have so much money. I don't think they're going to sue.
So we don't really know, like, if Kanye's at his home or at a hotel or an apartment. Like, do you know anything about where he's currently staying? Because I always see little updates of him doing a, stage photo shoot at Melrose Tanning or him down the street from where I'm at.
Place.
Always is. And I'm like, so he's near, but where is he?
So
Chateau?
Yeah, he sometimes would stay at the Edition Hotel in Beverly Hills, West Hollywood area. Now he's been at the Chateau Marmont. So those like pictures that went viral where Bianca was wearing a black leather gimp mask in the kitchen, those were at the Chateau. You can Google the kitchen. Those are at Chateau. That's where he's been. That's where he made a lot of some of the last minute touches on Vultures. He destroys almost every property he buys. He literally tears it up like it's something psychological with him.
When you mean tear it up, like, okay, because
he literally destroys it.
Not dirt. You mean like he is clawing?
Like he will go in with like a, not him. Someone goes in with a sledgehammer and like the entire property is destroyed. So if you look at the property in Malibu, he's selling for, originally it was listed for $53 million. It's now dropped down to $39 million, and he probably won't even get that for it because the entire property. Because he has these big plans. He wants to like reimagine every space he goes into. So he has these huge plans to reimagine a space, and then it just doesn't get finished. He leaves a lot of projects incomplete, and we're seeing this a lot with the homes.
So Kanye West, the $57 million Malibu beachside mansion that he purchased is very far from done. So he purchased this back in September. It's completely gutted. This is what it looked like in the beginning.
It looked better in the beginning.
Very much so. Maybe he's having issues getting supplies, or if it's, you know, Kanye changes his mind about a lot of stuff often. So I don't know if that's what's the holdup.
It's gonna be hard for him to get money for some of these properties, I think. Like at least as much as he wants. So he doesn't really have a home base. So I think that kind of mirrors the behavior we're seeing because when you don't have like a home, you're never fully like comfortable. I think his root chakra's off.
Something's really off. And like speaking of like projects unfinished, like let's just go ahead and talk about Bianca because that's pretty much every outfit that she's wearing. It seems like a project unfinished. She's wearing like nothing. So I want to, first off, what's your take of Bianca? And then we'll get into like kind of what you know. Do you think it's real? Like, is it a Julia Fox part 2?
No, I don't think so. I think that they genuinely have a connection. Bianca's style, I think I do want to set the record straight. I do think Bianca is styling herself because a lot of people don't ever check the tags when they do post a photo. I always go to who's the source, and usually the designer, the stylist, or the photographer will post the image. So when she came out in March 2023 with the cross on her butt, that everyone just assumed that that was Ye, but that was actually her really good friend Gadir, and he's known for that like edgy type of, I guess, blasphemous photo, those types of outfits. And she also gets styled a lot with Moa Lola.
Girl, I can't say any brand. I'm like Versace, like Gucci.
So Moa Lola made the wet tank. That was a collaboration.
Like this?
With
Which
Ye.
also, like, is it, guys, comment below, is it problematic I have this? I was just like, it was kind of a spontaneous, like.
It's really cute. It's only $20.
Only $20, right?
It looks so
Everything's
good.
only $20, which that doesn't make sense to me. Like, how is like a pair of sweatpants the same as like.
That's the issue. So Ye wants everything to be, like, he wants everything to. Would it be economical? He wants it to be everything to be $20. He really.
Well, now he does because it's like it wasn't like that before.
Well, that was the whole thing. The whole reason he was mad at some of the big companies is because he always wanted the prices lower, and he didn't understand why they'd have to mark it up. But he did end up losing the pods that were made in Italy, the Yeezy pods.
Which, yes, let's.
So these were made. These were actually in Italy. They were $37 to make because he wanted to get it at the. Yeah,
it just feels
it's like a sock.
Actually, it feels like a soccer sock. And then it feels like it has like the inside of like a shoe press should be, but like
it kind of feels like a swim shoe, like you wear like in the reef.
Kind of granny vibes.
Really?
Yeah, like she's gonna go to her aerobics, like in the pool that evening.
Yikes! Good thing it's $20.
No, but it's cute. It goes with the green.
So Balenciaga put out a similar shoe, and Ye's is very much like theirs, and he wanted to be like, hey, look, I can make the same shoe in the same factory and charge $20, but he ended up taking a $17 hit on every single shoe. So he lost money in the first initial round of the pods, and since then they've moved the factory to China, and now that's why there's order delays. There's a lot happening.
A lot of issues. Yeah, I mean, I think it took about a month for this to come in.
Those came in first. Those were quick. The wet tees were quick.
And I got like my black sweatpants, and then I also got like a shirt. Like I got a good amount, and it was like it took like a month. But I've heard like a lot of people were like, I went and I saw him at Rolling Loud. Were you at Rolling Loud?
You did. I was there, but I got there late.
Well, I got there late too. Like,
what did you think of it?
I mean, was the mic even on?
He doesn't use mics anymore.
He just shouts it?
They just move around.
Yeah.
And, it's a listening party.
It was very much just that, moving around. I mean, I was just with like friends, so I was like, okay, it was fine. But like, I didn't go back the day or the day after that or the day after that because it actually felt very unsafe.
He says, like hundreds of others, he was duped.
It was kind of chaotic when I got there, and the event staff, they didn't really know where to direct anybody. It was just this incredible amount of people, like hundreds and hundreds of people. The line was not moving an inch.
He says he waited for nearly 2 hours outside the stadium with no help from event staff.
You could hear a lot of like frustration, a lot of sadness from people, from other fans who just kind of gave up. They said, look, this isn't going anywhere. There's no organization here. It's just, they're not letting us in.
When he heard his favorite song from the new Vultures album play from inside, but it turns out Ye and Ty Dolla $ign weren't actually performing inside. They were just standing on stage while pre-recorded music played.
And I think it's kind of a slap in the face to the fans, you know.
You weren't there when people were like breaking down the barricades.
Everyone said it was bad the first day.
It was so bad because they weren't supposed to have it on Thursday, but then Kanye insisted. So this like a festival that's normally a Friday to Sunday opened a day early and did not have all the like.
Yeah.
Which is very Kanye West. Like, it's like half-assing everything he gets himself
right
into.
Now, he's definitely not able to give his full, commitment to anything. So whereas Drake right now is very focused on the music and just his like one brand, Ye is trying to do too much. And I will say that very confidently. He, at the moment, is running the Yeezy, the shoes and the merchandise. He has his Donda Ray Academy is still open.
That's still open?
The school is
Which
still open.
Which is a school that like children went to. That it was like all ages, right? And it was kind of like an art school that was like kind of overpriced and a very bizarre location.
In the beginning, there was no tuition actually, and then they started charging recently. But it was free for a while. I found that out recently.
Like rich kids?
It was I don't know what the demographic. A lot of LA kids went there.
Yeah.
But then they did start charging tuition. But that Donda school has had so many lawsuits coming out.
Really?
So before we get into Donda, so he's got the school. He promised us 3 albums for Vultures. He's got
3 albums for Vultures.
Yeah, right now we've only had volume 1. There's 2 more coming.
Wow, okay.
And he's working on a solo album. So he's got 3 albums in the works.
Too much.
He has got the clothing line and the shoes. He's got the school that's still open.
Just save the children.
He's got the church. I think he has plans to do something with the church again, but that's not confirmed.
Like the Sunday service thing.
That's kind of not really happening yet right now.
We've got the adult content.
And now he wants to open a porn studio.
The main thing that I think that Kanye could bring to the porn world, aside from just more eyeballs, would just be, him sort of adding to the aesthetic component. Because if you look at the brands that have come out over the years that have really kind of changed things in terms of porn, I think just like creating new imagery and like changing up the visuals, because porn does tend to get kind of stale. I feel like if anything, that's what I kind of would expect that he would be primarily concerned with. I feel like he'll probably have some like really nice furniture and like be filming the porn with some really cool lighting.
And while all this is happening, he's micromanaging every department in his business.
You could do these things.
He's talking to the janitor.
Facilitate,
He's
but he
literally
doesn't,
having
right?
parasocial relationships with every single employee. So no real work is getting. Oh, and he has an app in the works. He's trying to build his own app because he wants to take down all the streaming platforms. So he's got so much going on, and he's trying to do everything. And I just feel like it's one of those things where you can't have your hands in too many pockets.
Yeah.
But it's also like I do the same thing, so I have a lot of empathy for him.
Yeah.
But I also am like, can you just not do so much at once?
It seems like he had a lot of money and he wanted to do a lot of things and he just threw it at all of those things. And honestly, I'm like, I question how much money he's got. Like,
well, the issue, he's been broke. He's built it back up once Adidas unfroze his money, and then he got a big shock, and then he's blown through a lot of money this year.
Yeah.
Money's running dry. Yeah. So, I mean, Travis Scott made more money selling one T-shirt in a day than Yeezy has made year to date.
So he start, skipping the edition, going for like the.
No, he'll not. He loves the fancy hotel. No, he'll never do a Marriott. I want him to just like go to a Marriott, like go to the Marriott.
Do some, be reasonable.
Because everything's $20, so there's not a huge
income coming in, like a big revenue source right now.
Yeah, he took a negative $17 cut on the initial pods, and like I can't imagine he's making a lot on the T-shirts.
So when it comes to Bianca Censori, do you think that she's a victim in this situation with her relationship with Kanye West?
I know in a lot of the videos, I watched a lot of your videos, and a lot of the news does say that she's a victim, but from my understanding, Bianca is very much in control of her own life, and she does stand up to Ye a lot, and she has a mind of her own, and she is kind of an exhibitionist herself. Like she likes to
she
dress,
likes the kinky little like
she's
outfit.
she's very into that. And if you deep dive her friend group, they're also like very open like that. A lot of some Australians are. She definitely has.
Sounds like I'm going to Australia.
There's been a lot of like screenshots that get leaked, and
I thought her friends were worried for her though. That,
I don't think those reports aren't accurate, because all her friends are constantly tagging Bianca in those looks, like the looks that they're saying that her dad's mad at. They're tagging her, being like, "Go off, queen." Icon, legend. Like her best friend Tennille, he's an architect, and he follows my page, and he posted it. He was like, she looks gorgeous. She's like a stunner. Like he's like totally bestie vibes, and he loves the looks, and he works at Yeezy as well. Like he did. I think he doesn't anymore at the moment. He's at school or something.
And just to give you guys some context on that, so essentially the Daily Mail, I believe, put out an article saying that there were some like friends, some close friends in Australia, or at least in Bianca's life, who were like, oh, she can't even speak to him. She's not allowed to like speak without being spoken to. She can't pick out her own outfits. Like essentially when they were in Italy for that duration, that's when it came out.
I'm sure he probably has some say. He's always controlled like what women wear around him. I'm sure he used to make all the employees wear only black. I'm sure he probably does have some say over what she wears and stuff, but I think she can probably walk out at any time. She seems very fun and confident. Like she's laughing all the time, she's always having a good time.
Yeah.
But I think we'll have to wait and see what happens with these two.
What was her role at his company?
She was like, I think she was a junior architect.
What does that mean, architect? Like clothing designer?
It's when this is the other thing he wanted to do. He wanted to do, he wanted to build like mini cities and make these domes or people. He wanted to like change how humans live and breathe.
It's too much.
Back then, like
someone who thinks they're God, truly.
He does have a God complex.
Or he wants to be like us to be a communist. He wants everything to be one price, everyone to look the same, everyone to live in the same house.
He thinks he can dress the entire world to look homeless. He wants us to all look the same. He really does want to change how we dress, but I don't think everybody wants to dress like him at the moment.
So if you think Bianca's in control, do you think she could be a handler? Like a celebrity handler, someone who's in Kanye's life, pretty much under the command of someone else to keep things in order or to make profit, or I mean obviously there's not that much profit coming in, but do you think she could be that role?
There's definitely a lot of rumors about her being a honeypot handler.
What is a honeypot handler?
That's some I feel like you want to be a honeypot handler.
That sounds nice. I love good honey.
They say that the CIA will hire someone that's like young and beautiful to control a celebrity that maybe has some type of
influence or something.
Yeah, sex addiction or something like that.
Oh.
So CIA uses
their weaknesses to get to them.
Yeah, they use certain different, like in their operatives, they'll use certain types of archetypes. So a lot of people, given her last name is Censor-y, they think she's censored.
Oh my
people
gosh.
like do that.
Well, that is a weird last name though, right? Or is that like Australian comment?
I don't know, but there's always people in the comments writing that, and then they also think because her parents have her family comes from a mob past and they have FBI connections. People always think she's wealthy. Bianca comes from a wealthy family in Australia. Yeah. They're not like in the outback. Like they're a wealthy, her mom has like a Birkin bag. Like they're not poor. The timing of her popping up in his life. So in the beginning of December, there's this writer, Shane Cashman. Ye flew him to LA to make a story about him. And I've had him on my podcast a few times. And he said that while he was in LA, all Ye talked about was handlers. Mm. So this was right after the Alex Jones I Love Hitler interview.
I see good things about Hitler also. The Jew, I love everyone. I'm done with the classifications. Every human being has something of value that they brought to the table, especially Hitler.
Ye was looking around, talking about handlers, and I guess he was super paranoid, thinking, he thought everyone around him was a handler. And then now 2 weeks later, he gets married. Bianca it seemed like she kind of came out of nowhere at that point. Uh-huh. And then he dropped pretty much all of those friends from that time period, and then he kind of ran off with her. But then up until March, he had hired a Christian coordinator to be in Japan on the set to make sure that all the lyrics were of the Bible and Christian. And now, if you saw the recent podcast, he just said he doesn't even care. He is God. He is running the world. So he's totally done with religion.
I have my issues with Jesus. There's a lot of stuff I went through that I prayed and I didn't see Jesus show up. So I had to put my experience in this world, my experience with my children, my experience with other people, my experience with my account, my experience with my brand, and my experience with the level of music that I was dealing with in my own hands. Christians, we depend on Jesus so much that we won't put the word in ourselves. And the main thing that really that I don't rock with is like, it's just always like, I'm gonna pray for you. And it's just like, you can actually physically do something yourself too, more than just pray. We're so in this mentality that's all that needs to happen, but we ain't praying our way out of prison. We ain't praying our way out of the abortion clinics.
People told me that they don't even say God bless in their messages to Ye anymore because he gets triggered by it. So like they don't even write God bless. Because there was a time when Ye would tell everybody to find God. Now we're in a whole new era. Yeah, there are rumors that she could be a handler, but that's if you're like putting your tinfoil hat on, I guess.
Yeah.
While all this porn stuff was happening, this girl DM'd me the other day. She's like, how many people do you know that have slept with Ye? And I was like, actually, no one's DM'd me. And she goes, well, now you know one. And I was waiting for this wild story. And it was literally like, back in 2011, they met at a concert. They ate purple cupcakes and cuddled, had like regular sex, and then he texted her. And I was like, I was waiting for something crazy. It was like the most wholesome celebrity hookup story I've ever heard.
Yeah, and my
Purple
friend didn't do
cupcakes
it.
and cuddles.
And it sounds actually really nice.
That sounds nice.
It sounds way different than like a Diplo story. Before we move on, I want to ask you 2 more questions. One, thoughts on Julia Fox?
I don't know.
None thoughts? Are you like uninterested?
Yeah, she's like at the 2022 era, so I'm like over it.
Over it. Okay, and then have you spoken to Bianca? We can leave it at that. Have you met Kanye before? Have you ever, like, obviously you've seen him in concert, but like, are you, whatever you're willing to share?
I can't share anything yet.
Okay, you can't share anything yet. Do you think Kanye is mentally well from what you've gathered, just seeing everywhere?
No, he's like, people are telling me now that he is like starting to become addicted to nitrous. That's a drug.
What is nitrous?
That's like the laughing gas you get at the dentist.
Is that like Whippets?
Yes.
Those things last like
he's gonna
60 seconds, right?
Yes, you have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
So apparently, allegedly, like before the podcast he just did with Justin LeBoy, he wanted nitrous before he podcast. But it's like, that's not the drug that I would take before a podcast. Like if Ye wants to do good drugs, like let me know. Like I just feel like nitrous is a weird one to do at that age.
And Garcia, this Ye, I'm on the nitrous. And Garcia, this Ye, I'm on the nitrous.
Have you seen the recent clips? So he sounds like he's not as articulate as he used to be in his old interviews. So a lot of fans are super worried. Everyone's really concerned. That's why I wore my God Save America shirt today. He doesn't seem well. Like he doesn't seem like as coherent and awake as he normally does. That passion and that excitement in his eye.
Mm-hmm.
When he used to talk about all these projects, he had so much energy. I feel like we're seeing him in a very low, depressive state.
I mean, obviously there's a lot of facets to him as a person. I think that's why it's fascinating and why you've even like been able to like, you know, garner this attention around his life and his posts.
He's so interesting.
He's so interesting. And it's also like this mix between like, you can't just say like, oh, this guy's mentally like not well and that's it, because there's also so many other things going on in his life. So it's like, could it be his wife that's like, I mean, it doesn't seem like his wife is his downfall. She's not bringing him down. Like what is bringing him down? Is it bipolar disorder? Is it depression? Is it celebrity narcissism?
I think it's a little bit of mix.
All of it, right?
I think a lot of things are weighing him down. Yeah. Definitely the divorce. I don't think he understood how hard it was to operate a business independently after the Adidas split. I don't think he valued the infrastructure that Adidas provided, and now he's kind of learning the hard way how hard it is to run a business when he's really a hyper creative. He's not a businessman. Mm-hmm. He's trying to be a businessman right now, but it's really not his strong suit. And I think it's taken him out of path. In order to escape that, I think he's turning to drinking a lot, partying a lot, all the things he was against a few years ago.
Have you had people like tell you or witnesses or anything that could hint to you that he is like using substances and acting like chaotic? Like, are people coming to you like?
Everybody's coming to me. I'm easy HR. They're going to me. I'm like, Ye needs to cut me a check because I'm essentially HR and promotions for him at this point.
So these people are coming to you kind of because like you're like a voice.
Different departments from the people that are still with the company, people that have recently quit because they just couldn't take it anymore, are coming to me to vent in vanish mode. Right. Nobody's being treated right.
And are people like
nobody
saying, like,
feels valued?
He's like a drunk asshole. Is he like saying shit to them? Like, what is like the what could a normal day be for like a Yeezy employee or a normal week like?
Well, he only sleeps 2 hours a night.
Kanye?
Mm-hmm.
So
he expects people to also only sleep 2 hours. You're not allowed to have a life outside of it.
So they're not texting back when he has this immediate
He'll
idea.
literally be at like 4 a.m. and be like, where is everybody? Why is nobody awake yet? And they're like, it's 4. We just went to bed at 2.
Yeah.
He'll just kind of be going off in the chats. People like definitely, it's really hard for people to have a work-life balance there. a lot of people are quitting, and what's happening now is a lot of people are coming out and they're breaking their NDA, or they didn't sign an NDA, and they're posting screenshots from Yeezy and they're putting it online. Like, there's been a lot of chaos in the Ye community over the past couple months.
Former executives and other high-ranking members at Yeezy have accused Kanye of bullying, mind games, and even forcing them to view explicit photos and videos of his ex-wife. Many of these offensive actions were targeted at female employees. Ye is said to have used these tactics to manipulate staff members and cause fear within the company. It's believed that his problematic behavior may have taken place as early as 2017, but executives at Adidas turned a blind eye in favor of profits, oftentimes telling management Kanye is just Kanye, and his comments are totally harmless. In a letter written to the new CEO of Adidas, several former executives are calling for accountability and an end to the chaotic, toxic work environment that had become the norm in Kanye's presence.
There's some screenshots of Bianca texting a designer this really violent, like kind of BDSM porn, and it's from this like violent porn film about BDSM torture, and it's called graphic sexual horror, and apparently that's been something that Ye has been watching on loop. Trigger warning, because it's like women being in cages, beat up, and that's where he got the inspiration to his new Yeezy ads. Have you seen them? Where the girls are like,
they're like wearing this and sitting there like Yeezy.com, like all plain, right? Like it looks like they're being human trafficked.
Which is weird because he was so against that. He was tying porn with trafficking.
I was young and I would go to the video store. If I wanted to go into the adult section, it was a curtain. It was a person sitting there watching, making sure that kids didn't go in. If the kids went into that section, there was a video camera, and they would have you be escorted out of that section. Now that section is forced through TikTok. That section is subverted and kind of mixed with the drink inside of music directed at children, inside of content through Disney, on Hulu, which is Disney also, and in so many branded commercials to confuse children and to sexualize our children way too early.
But yeah,
that's freaky.
You're going to be seeing a lot of people. There's going to be more lawsuits coming. There's a lot of lawsuits already happening. He's definitely like, I just wish someone would like go in and just like shake everyone and just get it together. Like, hey, we're going to get you an apartment in WeHo. You're going to not be in hotels anymore.
Yeah.
No more drinking. I'm taking the whippets
No furniture
away.
you can tear up. We're going to get like German Shepherd proof furniture.
You're going to have a morning routine. I want him to have like, you know, do a to-do list. Like, I want someone to come and like organize his life like that. Right now, it's just operating in pure chaos.
But
it's like, is it going to be me? No.
I like what you're alluding to there, but then tell me, where does it cross the line to handler? Because you just described a celebrity handler.
Well, whoever's handling him isn't doing a good job then. That's why I don't think Bianca's a handler, because I think Bianca truly wants organization and structure. I think she wants him to get shit together. She wants babies and stuff. Someone needs to be actually handling him. And from what I've witnessed, he's in control of him. It's all his decisions.
Yeah, I mean, he's always...
No one can tell him nothing. It's in the music.
His brand is chaos, yeah.
And that's what, like, I'm attracted to that.
Yeah, you like
It's
that?
hard to, like, look away from, you know what I mean? It's like, it's such a dumpster fire.
Do you think this behavior is, like, it's going to live on? You know, it's going to kind of, like, create his reputation, or this newfound reputation. Kim had an interesting quote where she said, like, the porn tape.
Oh, she said, like, she was crying back on the Kardashians Hulu show, and she was saying how she's upset that Ye's always bringing up her sex tape, and she's like, thanks for reminding everyone. And she said, one day his shenanigans are going to be more damaging to the children than my sex tape ever was.
All of his shenanigans is going to be far more damaging to the kids one day than my tape will ever be.
And now I'm starting to be like, shit, do we owe Kim Kardashian an apology? Because it kind of is feeling like she has kind of protected the kids from a lot. People were always blaming Kim for leaking things to the press and trying to get clout off of his name, but I think that the Kardashians know a lot more about this man than they're telling us.
They probably could make him look way worse than they wanted to.
I actually think the media could probably be harder on him if they wanted to be.
Well, I want to shift gears and ask you, do you think Kanye is even Kanye? Like, do you think he could be a clone? Because during the Free Britney movement, there were some people who thought that maybe Britney was cloned. She looked different. Her teeth had a little bit of a gap. There are certain like qualities, behavior that just didn't really line up. And, you know, I think we can admittedly, you know, we can all acknowledge that Kanye has changed a lot in the last like 4 6 years.
Kanye West might have been cloned. This tweet went viral of Kanye, and he looks completely different than how he used to, and people are saying that he could have been cloned. Not only that though, it got even scarier when Kanye said this to fans just a couple months back.
Ain't going nowhere, baby. If I ever went anywhere, we know why. You understand what I'm saying?
He literally said in this freestyle, just watch how they're gonna clone me.
That God is the only, the real, not the phony. The phony will come.
Any take on that?
I think he gained weight.
Yeah, like all of us do. You know,
I think I can understand why people feel like that because he seems so different. If you look at the old Kanye, and it's in the music where he's like, I miss the old Kanye. It's almost like Ye is not Kanye West. It's like once he dropped his old name and he deaded that name and he became Ye, it feels like a very new person. I did interview a doctor recently that used to work at Pfizer that has 3 PhDs, and she went to school for cloning, and she said you can clone humans, and she explained like the bioprint process, but she said it's reserved for the very wealthy. Everyone at Yeezy tells me no, he's not a clone. He's just really fallen. He's just like in a bad place.
Yeah, I mean, he's also getting older.
A lot of conspiracy theorists online do believe he's a clone, but yeah, he's gotten older, he's gained a little bit of weight, and he's been through a traumatic, the Adidas thing really took a number on him, I think the divorce.
Everyone has mental illness. I think it's important to acknowledge that Kanye has mental illness, and we're watching someone who's experiencing that like in a public space, and we've seen him go through so many changes, even his like fall from godliness. And I want to kind of focus on that because I am a big like Illuminati type of like conspiracy theorist. And like, you know, I mean, I talk to some people though that have been in the music industry. Like there's one girl, every time I bring her up, because she's a good friend, she watches all my channel, my videos, but she's always like, you brought me up in this video, because I won't say her name, but she's in the music industry and she's pretty notable. Like she's been on big tours, and she told me it's absolutely real that she's watched Doja Cat go through it. I think there's some truth to the evilness in Hollywood. And I think that's what pushed Kanye to Christianity, and then now has kind of brought him out of it. So let's talk about his Christian phase, like thoughts on like him and his Christian clout era.
A lot of people say it's clout, but honestly, from my experience and everyone I've talked to, he was very, very much actually believing that he was being guided by the Holy Spirit. He was making all his employees do Bible studies. Anyone that met him during that time would go to church with him in the Valley. They were going to Bible studies on random days. He was constantly talking about God. Like I said, he hired a Christian coordinator to be on set just to make sure the music was Christian. So I do believe that he felt that, even though people think he was grifting for money and the church was all a hoax, I don't believe that. I truly believe Ye meant that. I really think he thought at that moment he was saved by Jesus. Because the problem with what's going on right now with the religious thing, and people are not understanding why there's so much backlash, but it's when you have such a big influence and you've led that many people to faith, you kind of have to, you have to kind of recognize your influence, because now he's going to lead people away from it and into this satanic stuff. So they say in the Bible, like, God punishes those that had such a big, I don't know the exact verse, but if you're kind of just like agnostic, you're not going to experience such like high up. I feel like right now we're experiencing like he was like at this like peak. God was giving him like all this money, and now he's being drained financially because I think religion was actually really good for him. And a lot of people at Yeezy said he was the most focused during his Sunday service era because he had to be on every Sunday. He had something to look forward to. It kind of provided him some structure. Yeah. So I do think that, and they said he was just a lot easier to work with during Sunday service times.
And now, was that during the marriage with Kim?
Yeah.
And then, okay, so that was like his Christian time, and he was producing music, putting out all those albums, doing pretty well. And I remember seeing the Sunday services. They looked cool.
It was really, really great.
Yeah. Did you ever go to one?
Mm-hmm.
You did? How did you get one?
I don't know. We got tickets for free. And then when I got there, this guy handed me a wristband, and I was in the front row, 4 rows in front of the Kardashians.
Oh my gosh. So it's like a ticket. It was like a ticket thing.
Yeah. It was at the Forum, the one I went to. It was amazing.
And that's like a venue?
Yeah. It was so great.
The Kia Forum?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know what that is.
He was awesome. They had all these beautiful flowers. Like it was, he had such a great team back then. I just think now that he's not with the Kardashians and he's not with Adidas, he's having a really hard time with this business because he has a lot of people running in the positions that they're not qualified for.
He doesn't have that Christianer touch where she knows how to really put together operations.
Their team is so tight. Yeah. They need that operations.
Exactly. So you think the like Christian era was kind of like authentic and it was real, and then like what? Like,
He's into satanic shit now. Like it's all of his friends are. Even I did a podcast with one of his friends recently, and he was saying how he thinks Ye's under a sex spell. And I did hear a rumor that he's supporting Diddy. That's kind of weird.
Weird.
That's weird. He was the one that called Diddy a fed, and now I've been hearing he's. I just wonder, does Diddy have something on Ye, or is he just doing that thing he does where he wants to talk to all the canceled people?
Yeah.
Because Ye likes to collect canceled people. That's one of the things. There's a guy on his team right now that designed the merch that's an alleged pedophile that's on Ye's team. He's the designer. And it's just he likes to collect all these
problematic people. He likes the problematicness.
That's why it's like
not cool.
I feel like I need to be more problematic.
Yeah.
If I ever wanted to like be a handler, I'd have to be like off the wall.
So I don't understand the shift of him going from Christian to satanic. Like, was it like, do you think it's like a post-divorce thing, like an Adidas thing? Like, we saw the anti-Semitism. I think it was like before that. Like, when did he really fall into this darkness? And I guess like I started embracing it because I went to Donda 2, I think. It was in Miami.
Yeah.
And that felt evil as hell. Like,
it did?
Yeah, I mean, just also the speakers blew. It was a shit show. And then they like
Really?
burnt the house down.
Some people do think that was the beginning of it.
When they were like,
and
Donda,
there's some lyrics.
Donda. It felt like a evil,
like a chant.
Yeah, a chant.
I didn't get to go to that show, but a lot of people do feel like that was the beginning of it. They almost feel like the burning of the house is symbolism for him to like get Kanye, like
The old Kanye.
Yeah, to get rid of him. And then it's like, if you look, there's a lot of videos that talk about like this evolution of the artist, and that was like him like killing off Kanye West, and then he's like going back into society is just Ye, and then he's just like barefoot in Italy walking around with his wife.
Yeah.
But it's almost like he really still wants to be so much part of the industry, even though he's kind of always preaching against it. He did just insert himself in that beef with Diddy.
Yeah.
Or with Drake and Kendrick. Like, he just did a diss track. He wants to be part of the conversation.
Well, he wants to be relevant. I think it's so hard for him to imagine himself not being relevant.
He likes being in the spotlight.
And I think like being with Kim really got him the spotlight, and maybe he like liked it, but then got overwhelmed. I don't really know.
Think he had the spotlight before her, and he brought her in, and then together they were. Yeah, everyone says he got her in.
And now he's like falling out.
I don't get what it's just dark. He's in a dark era. Everyone's telling me he's into some really twisted shit right now, and it's not. It's poisoning his mind. So I asked the question, is he poisoning his own mind, or is somebody poisoning his mind? Like, was he speaking too many truths back during the Adidas fallout? That remember the Harley Pasternak stuff?
Yeah.
So was he spitting so much truth, and then he got Harley Pasternak, his old celebrity trainer, that I think you've probably made a video on.
Yeah, I think that video will probably come out later. Like, this will be out before that. But so he had this falling out with Adidas, right?
Yeah, and then he was
just because he made the comments about Jewish people, correct?
That's a whole whole podcast.
But that's what like cut him out of Adidas essentially, right?
The DEFCON tweet that he wrote, yeah.
And the way that, and then like obviously I think Rolling Stone like talked about like later on the work culture at Adidas is weird with him showing like porn videos and doing like making inappropriate comments. Right?
Yeah, I know that he. Yeah, that's something common that even came up in a lawsuit recently. One of his Donda employees said that he would want to watch porn with his employee, and he did show Adidas executives porn, and he posted it himself. Like, Ye exposed himself. He posted a video
I remember
of himself showing porn, and all his fans were like, "That's so cool."
He's got Northern European accent. You guys have done wrong by the company, by the business, and by the partnership. The whole concept of this video is that the guy had cheated. So then the girl was like, well, I'm gonna do the thing that's your like worst nightmare.
So Harley Pasternak is a celebrity nutritionist who we're gonna do a deep dive on the main channel, so look out for that. And you have done a deep dive, right, on like TikTok?
I've done it on YouTube. I've done it and TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys can go check that out if you want to right now, and all of her social medias are listed below as well. Harley worked for the government in Canada for the the defense, right?
Canadian Defense.
Canadian Defense, and then ended up coming to the States, working with a bunch of celebrities, so close to so many celebrities.
Literally every celebrity.
It's giving Corey Gamble, because Corey Gamble is also kind of
well,
like that.
also, Ye called Corey and Harley a fed. And now we're seeing Corey like pop up in the Diddy lawsuit.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of weird stuff going on.
So Harley like had a close relationship with Kanye, and when Kanye was pretty much at his worst, Harley was a big part of his life. I don't exactly know what his role was.
He used to train him.
Like
he was his person. Yeah, like they would play basketball and do like workouts.
But also, it's still okay. So then, how does someone like Harley end up in a position where he could be like, "You are not allowed to see your kids. I'm going to lock you up in this facility, and you're going to be on so much lithium that you can't even."
It's weird. Yeah, so he said to Ye, like, if you, I'm going to send you to Zombieland forever. Play date with the kids will never be the same.
They put a handler next to him to keep him in check. Harley Pasternak is a former Department of Defense special agent in the Canadian government. Number one, he's a nutritional scientist for the Department of Defense in the Canadian government. So he knows chemistry, how foods operate, but he knows certain drug techniques to use on human beings. He told Kanye, we're going to have a conversation, but we're not going to have a conversation where you're cursing or using profanity, and don't tell me about some stupid thing that your friend told you. The second option is, I can have you committed again. First of all, that's a threat to a psychiatric facility where you're going to be so doped up, playtime with the kids won't be the same. Wait a minute, you were the one that sent him to the psych ward in the first place. Now everybody can't say he's crazy. No, he is being handled by an agent who was sent to be right next to him to make sure that he doesn't get out of line. But Harley Pasternak also had other clients like Halle Berry, Jennifer Hudson, multiple clients. You need to look at this individual, and that is not somebody who should be around you.
But now we have to ask ourselves, is this Zombieland now? Like, he might already be in Zombieland. This feels like he looks like a zombie. He acts like a zombie. He speaks like a zombie. He's a zombie.
Well, you know what? And I was so big in the Free Britney stuff that like when we look back at some of those red carpets, like right before she kind of went away, I mean, it was giving lithium. Like when she said she was on lithium and a lot of it,
no one believed her. I believed her.
Yeah, right.
I believe Britney was on it.
And like seeing him, like maybe, I mean, it does seem like his mind is gone, but it also does seem like he's sick. So it's like, damn, like what do you, I guess, do you think Harley was in a position where he was trying to do the right thing?
It's really hard to say because people that like to like gossip to me about Ye and say he's like a bad guy, they've all said the same thing, and they're all like, he was right about Harley Pasternak.
So
they all say that.
Have you?
And then when my video went viral,
I know.
I was telling him this before we started. I did one video and it went viral on TikTok. Like a week later, I was working and Harley Pasternak showed up at my work. Like I was helping my friend sell juice. She had a booth a booth in Melrose.
Yeah.
And he showed up and was like, oh, let me try all the juices. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And it was Harley Pasternak. So I looked at him and I go, how's Kanye? And he was like,
really? So he didn't clock you right away? Were you in your green fit?
I was my regular self.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was like, I said, how's Kanye? And he goes, he's very unwell, but I hope he gets better soon. And then he just walked away like pissed off.
Interesting.
But I'm like, how did he, that must have been that might have been just a coincidence that, he lives in that neighborhood.
Yeah, I've had one of those recently with I made a video about Demi Lovato and her old ex Max, who was like super creepy, and then I filmed the video, and then 2 hours later I saw him at the liquor store, and I was like, ooh, I kind of wanted to say
I know
hi,
you're like, did he
like,
tap your phone? It's like,
well, I'm like, no, I just filmed about him, so I'm like, oh, I just filmed about you like 2 hours ago.
Oh yeah, so this made me think he could have, but I think it was a coincidence. A lot of the fans think. So what's weird? Here's the weird part: when Ye was in Dubai, Harley Pasternak, this was recently, this was in November, Harley Pasternak showed up to his hotel, the exact same hotel, and Ye got really scared, so he started filming Harley.
Weird.
That was when Bianca wasn't in town. So the one time they weren't together, Bianca went to Australia, is when Harley popped in.
The other handler came in, huh?
So it's a little bit weird, the timing. And Ye started filming him in the lobby, and then it was a big TMZ story. And then the news wrote it off as, oh, he just had a fitness conference he was attending. But Ye felt really uncomfortable.
And I don't want to hear shit from none of these. Oh, he's in an episode. Harley Pasternak followed me to the fucking hotel. Then killed Aaron Carter, and now they acting like they won't clear the Backstreet Boys sample. You get what I'm saying? Harley Pasternak pusher. Your trainer, Harley Pasternak, Jay-Z. You get what I'm saying?
Well, also, I know, I go to the gym, and I go to nice gyms out here, and, personal trainers, I mean, granted, he's a big celebrity personal trainer, but like it's giving a lot more than that, and it makes me question like how do you go from being like a government
Also, he was
official?
really he was like, if you go to my deep dive, you'll see he was really connected with Ariana's ex, Mac Miller.
Yeah, Mac Miller, who passed away. Yep.
He's always the person, and Brittany Murphy.
Yeah,
He's
the last one
always
with
the
them before they're gone.
He's always the person that makes a statement when they die, which is interesting. It's like, why does Harley Pasternak so much power?
Why? And that's why one of the questions I had was just like, why does he have the authority to tell someone like you're gonna have this type of hangout with your
Why
kids?
would some like loser like Harley like have any say over Ye's life?
Like, would that be like a Kris Jenner hire, you think? Like, is that type of situation?
Who knows? Like, do you even believe Corey and Kris are a real relationship?
Oh, not at all. Absolutely not.
Corey's always in the background lurking. Ye was always very vocal about Harley and Corey, like being a fed. He said he doesn't even know what Corey's last. He said something like he didn't know his last name. There was something he said.
Yeah,
Don't quote me on that.
I remember what you're saying. Like,
Kanye texted Corey something really rude. Kanye was like, I think it's weird, like we've never met his family.
That's weird.
Corey does tend to be pretty secretive, so me and all of the kids, we've been more on guard with Corey.
even my deep dive into him, like we saw him go from like college to like with celebrities. Like it went, like,
It's
boom.
weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
And I am watching a lot of assassin shows on Netflix, and I'm kind of being like, wait, is this predictive programming where they want, like, now I'm like, wait, I understand how like CIA operatives work now that I'm watching these shows. Like, they do have a handler. In the shows, there's handlers and stuff. So you see like what it's like.
The storyline has to come from somewhere, right?
Right? I always feel like that.
You're like triggering me. I think about like all those fungus shows we had last year. Do you remember like we had like
Oh,
5
God,
fungus
no.
shows? Like the one that was the
No.
video game one that was on HBO. You probably do. They're like everywhere. What's the one that Walking Dead? They're all about like fungus like taking over. I feel like
gosh.
that's predictive, like because everything's warming up, so fungi can live better in like warmth, and we're
Well-
all gonna be like infested by these.
Oh
diseases.
yeah, and like the bunkers are popping up now, and there's
yeah. Didn't
that-
Kanye like build one of those?
that was actually.
Why doesn't he go live in that?
Because that's the one that he tore apart.
Oh really?
That's the Malibu one.
Okay, so I want to talk to you about like the Vultures team and like the clothing and just like, so are you talking to anyone who's like currently working with him to create pieces like this?
Yeah.
And like is this a big team, a big operation? Like how does one even go about this, I guess? Like
Well, right now he's using Dove Charney, who used to own LA Apparel or American Apparel. Now it's LA Apparel. American Apparel ended. Dove had a lot of lawsuits himself against him. Another kind of canceled.
Well, American Apparel, like I remember it fell through, right? Yeah, like what you're just
So now
saying.
he still has a factory in downtown, and he has a ton of employees, and he is kind of that's where all the manufacturing is happening, and then the pods are happening at a factory in China now.
So the clothes are made in LA.
It's made in America. Yeah.
Oh,
All the
so
clothes
why
are
is
made
it
in
taking-
America.
So
I
why
don't
is
know
it-
why it's taking so long.
And that's a common complaint, right?
I mean, it's been people put a lot of orders in at the Super Bowl. Some people even in December, and they haven't got their orders yet. We're looking at 4 to 5 months. Like, you could order fake Gucci shoes on DHgate and get it quicker than Yeezy.
Yeah. Interesting.
I don't think there's enough people on they weren't prepared for that volume of orders.
Really?
Because he dropped the price to $20 to the day of the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden, they sold 1 million items, and they
What was
didn't
it
have the
before?
factory. They didn't have a factory.
What was like this before though? Like before $20, or was it always $20?
This was always $20.
Oh, it was?
But
Okay.
the pods are $200.
Oh, and then he
The
like
day
had
of the
this
Super Bowl,
website and-
the day of the Super Bowl, he dropped the price to $20, even though they cost $37 to make in Italy. But that factory in Italy could only produce X amount of products, so they didn't have a factory. So he had to find a factory. So the reason there's so much delay with the pods is because he couldn't decide on what everyone was telling him. Use my factory. Use my factory. So now we're seeing all these people leeching. They want to cut. They all want a little percentage of the pie. So the reason there was a delay is because the people around him were all trying to make him use their factory. Ye didn't really know who to trust. He didn't know what factory to choose. So you're also seeing a lot of people on his team taking from him. So it's like he can't really trust anybody. I kind of do agree with him in that regard.
So like one thing I do think is interesting is that like we question like Kanye's like maybe I think he's very much relevant, but like you know his status currently in like society as far as fame, and then like sitting here and hearing you say like, oh, he sold like so much in one sitting. Like he's made these terrible comments, the anti-Semitism. He's done like a lot of problematic things. Like how does this man still have the ability to sell all of this? You know. I mean, do you think that's just the essence of who Kanye West is? Like,
Yeah.
he clearly has still a very strong fan base.
His fans are like, it's a cult. Like his really loyal ones that'll follow him through anything, can be like culty in a way, and then the other ones are just, they just love him. His music has touched them. It's helped them in hard times of their lives. So, but now with this porn thing, a lot of the fans, I did a poll. I said, will you support Yeezy porn? 90% of a cult following of Ye said no.
And so do you think
he was not expecting that.
You think the clothing, like so if you did the same poll for clothing, it would have been like what, 70 yes or something?
Yes, everyone was supporting the clothes. Now there's people emailing Dove's company saying, I want a refund. I do not want my money going
to this.
It's interesting because now that's the question. Why are people drawing the line at porn? They didn't care about, but it's because people are like, he drew so many Christian fans and he was so vocal about porn. You know, we were talking about it earlier. He's been so.
Let's talk a little bit about that. So like Kanye has like had a relationship with like, adult content that he's had for like a long time. And he like has been addicted. Then he has, when he went through his Christian clout era, we'll just keep calling it that, he said like, oh no, I'm against it. So like what is his, like, do you think he's like a porn addict? He's clearly a hypocrite. Like, what is going on with this man in his mind?
Layers to trafficking. Like for me, Playboy was my gateway into full-on pornography addiction. My dad had a Playboy left out at age 5. And it's affected almost every choice I made for the rest of my life, from age 5 to now having to kick the habit.
He is horny.
Yeah, just like every man, he just cannot control it.
He's definitely horny right now. And I think he just got the idea in his head. Who knows if it'll materialize, really, because some of the stuff from that graphic sexual horror film, if you look at it, if those are any of his ideas, that won't make it to Vixen Media.
And the way you showed me it was not good.
The way Yeezy's like run right now, it's run kind of sloppy, and these porn studios are very professional and they're run very ethically. So I wonder, will Ye be too toxic for porn? And then maybe it'll be good if he gets booted, because then all the fans he can have back. But some people are mad at just the idea of him even wanting to do it. They find it hypocritical.
I want to talk a little bit more about this new endeavor of his, but I want to kind of lead into it with this lawsuit involving this kid who is suing him because of some like comments that he had made. Can you kind of break down what happened here?
There was like a very, I think it's a 35-page or plus lawsuit recently between plaintiff Trevor Phillips and Ye, and he was a Donda Academy employee that got hired on right around the Jewish comments.
And like, how old is this guy? Like, give me an idea. Like
probably
20s,
like
30s?
30s maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
As a teacher?
He was, I don't know what he did exactly.
He had some role.
That's the thing. There's no, but it was also a Yeezy employee too. Ye doesn't keep people in one position. He switches them around. So in the lawsuit, it'll say like, I never really knew what my job was. I was sometimes working for the clothes. Sometimes I was at the school.
Disturbing allegations in a new lawsuit filed against rapper Kanye West, who now goes by Ye. Trevor Phillips, a former employee, claims West spread anti-Semitic conspiracy theories in front of staff and students of his private school, Donda Academy. Phillips accuses West of comparing himself to Hitler, saying he wanted to shave students' heads and lock them in cages. The lawsuit also spells out threats of physical violence, inappropriate sexual behavior, and anti-LGBTQ comments. And this is the latest in a slew of discrimination and wrongful termination lawsuits filed by former employees of West and his school.
So apparently there was this, and the reason I believe this one part of the lawsuit is because someone actually told me the story before the lawsuit even came out. And there was a Sunday morning and he was doing Sunday service at the school, and Ye shows up and notices this really small plot of grass on the ground that just wasn't up to his expectations. So he started screaming like, fuck you at this guy, and was blaming this guy that wasn't the gardener for this plot of land. So he,
like this random guy?
No, the guy that Trevor Phillips.
This employee. Okay.
Yeah, so he starts blaming him. He starts taking, people told me that he was like tearing weeds out of the ground like a madman.
Making it way worse than
it
was.
Like it's like showing he's like destroying everything. So he's tearing the weeds out of the ground, and there's 100 people witnessing this, and everyone just kind of like staring, watching him act like a madman.
Yeah.
And then he started swearing, like, you can see it in the lawsuit. The whole conversation is transcribed in the lawsuit. I can't remember exactly, but it was like, fuck you, you're fired. I'm fucking done with you. Get him out of here. And then the security guard drags him out, and then the assistant felt bad. So she's like, hold on a second, Trevor's a good guy. So then they try to patch it up, and then Trevor was like, I love your school. It's done so much to me. And the daughter was going to Donda Academy. And Trevor at the time had a growth on his neck, and Ye looks at Trevor and goes, fuck your neck and fuck your daughter. And that was just like that was part of the lawsuit. And it was just, honestly, if anybody said that to his kids, we would never hear the end of it. Like if someone told that to North, fuck you, Ye would literally drag all of us into this and like post it on social media, blame Kim and Sierra Canyon. But so that was like the part of the lawsuit that I was like, well, because someone told me months prior about that story, because it was like a big story. A lot of people were talking about it. But
well, also like
that was just one part of the lawsuit.
Coming for the guy's neck is like whatever. But like, I mean, doesn't Kanye have like a growth on his lip? Like, can someone check his lip? Like, what's going on with his teeth? Have you like seen the teeth situation? Like,
it's
disturbing, right?
He has like.
Can it come out?
I don't know.
It stunk.
I heard it stuck. I don't know.
I don't think stunk like smell.
What?
I heard it smells like it's bacteria gross.
Really?
Do you know if that's true? No.
I don't know. I can't smell anything in this mess.
Yeah.
And then part of the lawsuit was he wanted to put kids in cages. But I was actually, a source reached out to me that it was more of an abstract idea of Ye's. He thought it was going to be artistic. And it was during the time where he made all those models shave their heads. And I think you made a video about it. And it was about, you said it was like a satanic ritual.
It looked terrifying. It was like these, and we'll include pictures of it, but it was like this, like, wasn't it kind of like a fashion show-ish?
Our friend modeled in the show.
Really? Did she get her head cut?
He already had his head shaved, but they didn't pay the models.
Yeah.
And like there wasn't really a fashion show. Like they literally just stood there while Frank Ocean Self Control played on loop, and then they just stood there with the candle, and then they gave away those white T-shirts.
Oh my gosh.
And during that time, the next night he hosted a vampire movie night where like all the models got invited to just watch vampire movies, and he destroyed that building too. Like, he tore the roof off of the Melrose building.
Buildings that like he rents out for a night.
He bought that to be the flagship Yeezy store, and then he ended up tearing the roof out. So it's like
how
builders like.
He just has these construction people come in and like start a project and then why he doesn't like pay them or anything?
I think he pays them. I don't know.
I mean, I heard he didn't pay his lawyers and he was in the law. Do you remember that when he got all those lawsuits from the lawyers?
I'm sure he doesn't. I don't think he's the one that's like in charge of finance. So I think a lot of times people don't get paid. Yeah, but a lot of people are making too much money, and we should talk about that.
Yeah.
There's some people at Yeezy making exorbitant amounts of money that are like unheard of amounts for the job position they're at.
And so when you say job position, though, really there's no job position that they kind of just do whatever, but they're just like, getting a big salary.
They're getting these big salaries that I don't even know what some of these people are doing.
And how, like, when you're saying big salary, like 200K, 300K, just sitting like
$3 million a year to do what?
To do what?
$2 million a year? I don't know.
Do you talk to these people?
50 to 100K a month to do what?
You don't know?
To just tell yes to all of his ideas.
Like, yeah, it's awesome, we'll make it happen.
But then nothing happens.
And then nothing actually happens.
Yeah. And I think that's what got him so far in his career. He was
like the delusional.
It helped. What is it? Be delusional, girl. Delulu's good.
Yeah.
In some ways, because like it made Ye be able to accomplish so many things that people told him he couldn't do. He was able to do them. But now we're witnessing this thing where he's still trying to, but something's off. Like he's not, the success isn't as much as it used to be. And I don't know what's going on mentally.
Yeah. So just to go on a little bit about the new adult endeavor with the porn, what are your thoughts on? So you don't support this as like a Yeezy viewer?
I feel like I just think after everything he talked about, and he got all of his fans to really like feel like porn was linked to trafficking and that porn was damaging. He said porn ruined my life, porn ruined my marriage. So for him to attack Kim, and he almost demonized sex workers for a long time, and now he's going to profit off them, that doesn't sit right with a lot of people.
Well, looking at the inspiration that Bianca has sent to these people, I don't like the idea of like embracing this rape culture.
I don't know if he's going to take it that far. It's probably going to be like a concrete bed in a minimal aesthetic room.
Yeah.
They're saying it's going to be like nothing we've seen before. It's like, we already know what you're going to do. Like,
yeah.
We can picture it.
But we also just don't like that type of. It freaks me out because it's like kind of like video games. Like we all love. Like, people could have like video games, but like there's science that proves like if you play violent video games, like you will grow more accustomed to those behaviors. So if he's gonna create content that like looks like that, then he's gonna create kids that are gonna go out and do that to girls.
Well,
so
and the problem I have with it is that if you see like his majority of his fan base right now in the Vultures era, like at the listening parties, they're all young. He's lost a lot of his older followers. Yeah. All the people that really love him are like teenagers.
Yeah, I noticed that at the listening party.
The TikTok Riz, like they're all young kids like they're like young dudes, like
F boys.
They're all like young fuck boys in the making, and it's like they're gonna start. It might create a bad. I don't know.
It might create a new wave of guys that just think it's okay to do the complete opposite. Because Kanye, I think right now is like really living in this like. Doing the opposite of everything else to offend people and to get attention for it, but that has long-term like repercussions. It's not a good play out. Like none of this is going to look good in a few years, especially if he continues down this path. Like let's say he creates this like porn company and creates this like toxic workplace in sex work. I mean, he's done it at Adidas. He's doing it at Yeezy. Do we really need a porn studio that has a toxic work environment?
It's not gonna be able
where
to happen.
Where the boss is openly said he's an addict and he wants to, like, you know.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be. It's not. I don't think it's gonna materialize because I don't think he's even able to. You have to have the porn company has to be ethical and it can't be toxic. So if things can't keep operating at the level of toxicity that they're currently operating in, it's going to burn out.
Why don't you think it will become like
because he can't even get a T-shirt to his fans
yeah
like a normal amount of time. It's not normal to have a T-shirt take 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, he has this great idea and he wants to do it, but like actually booking the model, maybe porn is easier to do than T-shirts. I don't know. I think what would be great for Ye is if he was just like maybe he's directing porn for a studio that's already existing, so then he doesn't have to like handle any of the structure, because we're seeing that the structure of Yeezy is kind of falling apart. So like if he just wants to get it out of his system and just go direct a few pornos, like that'd probably be a better move.
Yeah.
But he has this idea in his head that he wants to be the studio owner. So I don't know if he'll be able. He always wants to be in control of the aesthetic and be in control of everything. The design. So
I think it's all his.
He wants to like be he has this complex where he wants to be the creator of all things in this world. Like he wants to dress us, he wants to tell us how to like live. Mm-hmm. But I think he needs to look inward for a little bit and start.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I don't think he should do really anything. I mean, maybe the clothing, but clearly he's not even doing that right. I think he needs to just like create music. Like just
he's so good at music. He cranks out music so quickly.
And build the CC brand through the music. And then like if the porn industry, you know, if it was right for him in like 5-10 years, you know, he could create this whole music video aesthetic and like kind of work towards it. But it seems like he thinks of it at one moment and the next day he's already
I don't think they should have announced the porn studio. I think they announced it too soon.
They should have done it when they already had it figured out.
Not
it was
even
already established.
It was literally like they had one meeting with the guy and then TMZ, a Yeezy rep leaked it to TMZ and then the Yeezy announced it, and it's like they was like Yeezy porn is coming, CUMMING, and it's like it was only 2 meetings. Like there's nothing. It's like it got
nothing concrete.
But maybe they're trying to promote Vultures too. That's supposed to drop this Friday. So I guess we'll find out if Ye decides.
Maybe this was a way just to do that. Do you think this could be a whole fake story?
No, it's not. It's not. I've spoke to several sources that said he really does want to do this.
Yeah.
But I think either way, it's great marketing because everybody's talking about the porn.
Mm-hmm. And then people are going to be talking about his album that comes out.
Yeah, of course. And I think the album's probably going to be really good.
Do you know, like, what happened with that one song? Like, the Everybody.
Maybe it'll be on Vultures, too.
Yeah.
Or actually, I don't think Backstreet Boys cleared the sample.
I know, they didn't. I liked it, though.
That was my least...
They took it on YouTube, too.
Really?
Yeah, and that was, like, my favorite one.
You did like that one?
Yeah, I mean, I like the little Backstreet moment.
I liked North's song best. I think Ye should produce Norse. He's supposed to be producing Elementary School Dropout.
So he's got how many? He's got 4 kids technically with Kim, right? 2 of them were birthed by Kim, right?
I don't know if it was
or just North.
North only, or
I think she did both.
2. Was it Saint and
North? She had 4 total, right?
Yeah, Chicago and Psalm, Saint, North.
I think she did and I don't think that like a kid is any less of a kid. To a parent if they were surrogate or born by the mother, like that's not important to me. But Kanye has publicly said that he has a closer relationship with his 2 eldest, right?
Yeah, he said only my 2 eldest know they daddy recently, and I thought that was weird to write.
Really weird to write because one, that's not a flex. Like,
Yeah,
why
I
would you
don't
wanna
get
share
why
that?
they wrote. I didn't get why he said that. Like it was weird. He's so obsessed. Like he loves North. They're both Geminis. They have a deep bond. North loves her dad, but we never see him publicly really with the two youngest.
Yeah, and so with his mental state, and I'm sure like a lot of people around are aware of like what's going on with him. What do you think his relationship, or what do you know about his relationship with his children?
I don't know much.
Like, so-
actually, that's the one thing that nobody will talk to me about.
Do they have like visit? You don't know if they have
I know that they'll
visitation?
go to I know that they went to like to see him at the hotel. They had a nanny with them. They'll like
That
see
watches
him.
over.
I don't know if they're always with the nanny's always there or
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
But that's the one thing. No one wants to ever talk about his personal life like that. Like the kids are off top limits.
Which
but
is actually kind of like nice because like I would hope they're being protected in some way, you
Mhm.
know?
I think I know that Ye said recently on a podcast that North has suddenly gotten into God. And I think he said something along the lines that like he didn't. I don't want you to quote me on this because it's not exact.
It's fine.
But I was just like, why are you were the one that was like,
Like, was his reaction not that great? Like, he
yeah,
wasn't
it was like he
enthused by
doesn't
it?
that, and he's not like happy about it or
He's like,
something.
"Oh,
And
no,
it's like
North's
you're the
getting
one that got her so involved with Sunday service. And, like you're confusing your kids by like
Yeah.
changing your mind on faith. So it's like kind of crazy that Kim is providing them with this structured like sense of normalcy that
Mhm.
he's not providing, as doesn't have like, you know, a typical lifestyle.
Yeah.
So now, but then Ye always criticized her mother. Like he always said she was a bad mom and the nannies raised the kids.
Yeah.
His kids are bougie and ruly. He always said these things. But now it seems like Kim's giving them religion, where I don't think he's into astrology and numerology right now.
So as someone who does believe in Kanye West to a T, like, a little
I
bit,
do.
like,
I want to be here still.
Yeah, what do you think he should do or could do to kind of make his next, you know, wave a little bit better than
Think
where
he
he's
needs
been?
to get off the nitrous if that's true. He posted a video with the nitrous and said, Ryan Garcia, I'm on the nitrous.
Is he doing it from the can or in the balloon?
It was in the balloon.
Oh, in the balloon. That's the Drake Bell way of doing it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he likes it in the balloon.
I think he just needs like a stable, more of a structure. I think he needs to get rid of the people around him that aren't adding value, that are just running him dry. I think he needs to trust the right people and then stop thinking like the world, like he's the only talented person in the entire world. I think that's becoming a detriment to him, because if you're always saying, I'm yay, da 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 da, it's like, how are you gonna get anywhere?
Yeah. He needs to like grow up and hire someone who's an expert at running a business and saying, hey, this is like what I want to happen.
Yeah, kind of surrender
and
control.
Then give the control.
Yes.
And like, actually, because I think obviously he's got something to him, an aesthetic and a vision.
He definitely still has taste. I've seen screenshots where like his feedback is good, and I'm like, okay, so he's still
Like,
got
that's
it.
coherent there.
He's good with and I've been told like he only has a few minutes of clarity a day, like
Really?
recently, where he's really like, it's like he really feels like, and
In,
then
like, a
and then he goes
psychosis.
back into it, and it's like, what is that?
Do you think he could be someone who would be a candidate for? And I'm not saying you know what a conservatorship is, or like you know what how probate court and all of that, but I think you know essentially what a conservatorship is. Do you think he should?
I don't think anyone should be in a conservatorship.
I agree. I mean, they would need to be disabled. To
I
a
think
point.
like he's a grown man and he can make his own decisions with his
Yeah.
money and stuff like that.
Do you think he knows what he's doing?
Also, Bianca's his power of attorney.
I know that.
So
Why-
she
why
does
is
have
that?
control of his finances.
Because, and was that kind of like an agreement with their marriage? It's kind of weird.
I don't know.
right?
It was like it was only like 3 or 4 months after they got married. She was appointed power of attorney.
She got his citizenship and got his power of attorney. It's amazing.
Oh, I didn't realize she got a citizenship.
Wait, isn't she Australian, right?
Yeah, so I don't know.
We've never heard her talk before.
I've heard her.
Yeah, you're like, I have.
Well, there's videos online.
Are there? I've heard like interviews and stuff.
I'm an architectural designer from Melbourne, Australia. I currently reside in Los Angeles and I'm a lead architectural designer at Yeezy. In my time there, I've had the pleasure of being able to work with designers like James Turrell, Valeria Olgiati, and Vincent Van Dyson. My passion for architecture lies in fabrication, conceptualizing the future of built space, and exploring the bridge between the physical and the meta.
There's like some videos of her at college talking about architecture projects.
Does she have like personality? Like
Yeah.
likable?
Yeah.
Because like Kimberly, like
She's
we'd
more
say what we want,
likable.
but
I would say she's
likable.
like more likable.
More like kind of real,
She's
like girl
fun.
next door. Kind
Bianca's
of vibe.
fun.
Yeah.
She seems like free spirited, but also like smart for sure.
Well, hopefully she could be a good force in his life, and like of course,
I think Bianca wants him to get it together. I think
Yeah.
because why would she want to be with someone that's like falling apart?
Right. And I mean, I think that like, even with what I do, I think we can acknowledge when someone needs to be accountable, but also acknowledge when like someone's clearly not doing well. And like, wouldn't it be nice if he was doing better? Like, I
want him to do better.
Yeah.
I want to be on the winning team. I don't want to see him go down like this. I want, like, everyone thinks it's over. I want to see Ye have the redemption arc that I was expecting this whole time. Like, I expected him to go off the map for a year and come back with like, I did not expect like the teeth, you know,
oh my gosh, not the teeth.
The delays, the cancellation. I didn't expect all this chaos. Like, I really want him to get the redemption arc that he deserves, because even now, people at Adidas tell me Ye was right about that. They were screwing him over. He was right about that. So I think it'd be great to just be like, fuck the establishment, and like Ye comes up on top. I just think he needs to figure out how he's going to get there. Because maybe the music, maybe Friday, it's going to all change and he's going to be on top again.
And then you'll have to come back. It
Yeah.
all depends on the delivery, huh?
But it's like, who knows? Then if he does porn, that like I don't think he needs the porn. He has the music.
I hope that's just a PR story, but like I mean, I know you know more. You've heard of actual legit meetings happening, but I hope it doesn't come into fruition.
I think it really is real, but I think it could not come to fruition.
Yeah, I mean that would probably be
because it's gonna take so long to create a studio. By the time that he might have a new idea.
Oh, he probably has moved
know
on
what I mean?
as we're recording this podcast.
He has like 20 ideas a day.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see what happens. You guys think Vultures is coming out Friday?
We'll have to see.
Yeah.
I mean, this is coming out, I think, Wednesday. So.
Yeah, so it'll be good.
Yeah, I think that'll be perfect. Well, thank you so much. I love having you on our show. You are our Kanye West expert. Next time we have a Ye update, we're going to be calling you in. And you guys should definitely go and check out The Green Girl online on Instagram. It's Kanye's post.
Yep.
And then what's your TikTok?
TikTok, I think it's Green Girl TV.
Everything will be linked below, so you guys
Kanye's
can just go
post
click the
on
links.
YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, but you've got great content, and you're just on top of it, and I love your reporting. I love the aesthetic and the vibe, and I mean, she's great. She's Green Girl.
There's no aesthetic.
No, I mean...
Oh, like maybe right now?
No, right now, this is an aesthetic. I mean, at one point, like, my contact was drying out, and I was like, I just see a green blob, but it was, like, giving, you know? But thank you guys for tuning in. Any last words?
You're an amazing host. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for coming to my home, guys. We actually filmed my home today. So leave a comment below. What do you think of this podcast? Go and check out her page, and I will see you in next week's episode.
Find God, yay.
Find God, Kanye. Bye, guys.